Welcome to Content Strategy with the Crimson Sage. I'm your host, none other than the Crimson Sage himself, and today we'll be looking at content strategy. This video builds on basic content strategy maturity levels to show what a developing content strategy maturity level looks like. By the end, you should be able to understand what an organization can do at the developing level and determine whether your organization is operating at that level. This is a part of a series of videos designed to help you improve how your organization plans and manages its content. If you like what you see, please like this video and subscribe so you'll be notified when I release future videos. So before we jump into the good stuff, let's make sure we're on the same page in terms of what content strategy is. Basically, if you have a plan or process about how you create and manage your content, then you've got a content strategy. Content strategy, it's just a defined means for planning, creating, reusing content, adding labels and tags, publishing, and then storing your content. In our last video, we looked at the basic content strategy. We know that at the basic level, we can create content and send it to people. We can also store it and revise it. The main issue we explored, though, is that people who use the content are not guaranteed to use the correct content, and that bad content can spread through an organization. Finding the content can also be an issue, both for the content creators and the readers. These are the main issues we're going to resolve with the developing content strategy. On the way, we'll also explore some further enhancements and a few new issues that crop up as part of the developing maturity level. Unlike a basic content strategy where everyone is creating and sending content on their own, we now want more standardization. This means we're going to introduce a new role called a content manager. We're going to promote Mary from our last video to this new role, and we're going to assign her 3 content creators named Amir, Sophie, and Derek. Mary still creates the content plan, but this plan now outlines all of the content that her team needs to create. She then assigns the content creation to Amir, Sophie, and Derek. This central planning allows our team to create quality content that looks like it comes from a single creator. Based on the plan, Amir, Sophie, and Derek create all of the required content. They all use standardized templates with enforced styles, content components, naming conventions, and required metadata tagging. For this plan, Amir will create a policy, Sophie will create a guide, and Derek, our local graphic designer, will create all of the images that will appear in the policy and guide. All of these content pieces are saved exclusively in a shared environment. As with the basic strategy, the policy and guide both become version 1.0. The main difference here is that Mary keeps track of the versions instead of the content creators. As time goes by, Mary assigns updates to the documents. New versions of documents are updated and posted to the content management system. The older versions are archived. This ensures that our people continue to use the correct version of the documents. How people access their content is one of the biggest changes we'll find in a developing content strategy. In the basic strategy, content creators emailed the content directly to the readers. In a developing strategy, the content creators publish their content to a shared repository, and readers look up the content from that source. Now that content is on a shared environment, people no longer need to receive individual copies of the documents. They just look it up on the content management system. When the content is updated, our readers look up the new versions automatically. Two of the big changes we've introduced in the developing content strategy is naming and tagging. We've established rules for how content is to be named, how the content is to be stored on the content management system, and what tags should be applied to the content. The result of this change means our content creators and readers will be able to more quickly find the content they are looking for, either through navigating the content management system or through search tools. Reuse in a developing content strategy does not change much from the basic strategy. The complexity of the system means it is typically too difficult to manage content reuse in a manual system. This means that if content is reused between different documents, there is no easy way to ensure that reused content is updated when the source content changes. We won't see fixes for this until we introduce component level management at the advanced content strategy maturity level. As with any new initiative, managing the change to the developing content strategy maturity level is typically very challenging. People need to learn new skills and change their attitude about how content is created and managed. People no longer create content in whatever way they want. They are now part of a team that follows similar processes and adhere to the same rules. We've now explored the developing content strategy. In the developing strategy, we plan and create content in a team-based environment, store it in a central content management system, and distribute that content to our readers from that central source. Content is now more consistent, easier to maintain, and our users can now access the right content when they need it. As you can see, the developing content strategy is significantly different than the basic content strategy. This functionality will be further developed when we explore the advanced content strategy. If you like what you've seen, please remember to like this video and subscribe. Post your comments below. That's all for now. I am the Crimson Sage, your wise man in all manner of making your content usable and effective. Until later.